All right, so I started doing the Red Dead Redemption playthrough on the other channel. I'll link it in the description if anyone wants to watch it. That game is very fun to play, and it's also kind of fun to watch. It's basically a spaghetti western in video game form. It's just this wide open world in the Wild West, and you're an outlaw, and it's a cool ass game. I made my dude look like Josey Wales in it because that's like one of my favorite movies. But so, anyways, now I think I might call this video financial advice from a homeless person because it might get a lot of views. But what triggered me to make this video is someone made a comment recently on one of my videos, and he's like, "Oh, why should I listen to you? You're homeless." He said it in a really rude way, and so I responded in a rude way. I said something along the lines of, I've turned down higher paying jobs than anyone would ever offer a moron like you, or something. I said something pretty rude in return, but it's the truth. I have turned down high paying jobs. I could have been living in New York City with a very easy, high paying job, working at Tavern on the Green, very expensive place, setting up the the bands and getting paid a lot of money to do it. But here's the problem. I am not into music. I am not passionate about music. I do not care much about music. Someone else would be better at that job because they could make connections in the music industry that matter to them. They can do something they're passionate about. It wasn't for me. It paid a lot. It was easy. Um, but I didn't want to spend my entire life just doing what's easy because it pays a lot. That's not I didn't come here for that. Then what? I'm gonna go out and get hammered every night and have a bunch of shallow relationships with a bunch of shallow girls and um, sit around and do nothing and probably do a bunch of drugs. I was like, I'm not doing this. I'm going back out on the street where I'm doing something I am passionate about, which is drawing, and I'm making people happy because they love the portraits I'm giving them. My portraits in New York, my stupid little cartoon portraits, were very popular. I used to have people lined up waiting for portraits. I used to have people waiting there for me when I would show up. People were happy with what I was doing. I was happy to do it for them. Um, I would draw like a lot of my customers were chicks. I would draw them in a way that would pump up their self-esteem. I would make them cute and attractive. It would make them so happy that it made me happy. You know what I mean? Yeah, and the dudes sometimes, I could sense they wanted a slightly insulting picture of themselves. They wanted to laugh. I was doing a great thing, and I was thinking, I'm actually spreading positivity out there with this job. Now, I'm gonna take this job, which is easy, and I'm gonna sit here. And here's the other thing. I was trying to get off of heroin at the time. I was on Suboxone, and one of the reasons that was forcing me off heroin was it cost too much damn money. Because as time goes on, your tolerance goes up and you have to spend more and more. So I was thinking to myself, if I take this easy job where I got to sit here all day pretty much doing nothing, I set up the instruments and the volume levels for the band, I sit there and do nothing for the rest of the day. What's going to happen? I know myself. What's going to end up happening is I'm going to start buying some dope before work because that's going to keep me entertained all day. This is how heroin is. You could do a couple of bags of dope and sit there in the sewer and be happy. You'd be content because you're high as a kite. You'd be looking at your reflection in the sewage, like thinking how good you look. This is what heroin does to you. It completely separates you from whatever's happening externally. You just don't care. You could have a blast just sitting there inside Penn Station doing nothing. So I knew myself. I knew where that path was going to head. What's that line in the Matrix? This line had a very big impact on me when he's trying to. He's like, "Let me out of the car," and she's like, "You already been down that path, Neo. You know where it leads." So when I'm on one of them paths where I know where it leads, I do what Neo does, and I don't go down that path again because I already know where it leads. You know what I mean? So Yeah, it's easy to take a high paying job that's pointless, that is boring, that has nothing to do with anything I'm passionate about. Sure, that's easy to do, but that ain't gonna lead me to where I want to be. The way I saw it is I could take this easy job and I can stay here for 10 years and live easy for 10 years. After 10 years, I'm going to be bored to tears and I'm going to end up quitting this job and going back out on the street anyway. So instead of wasting 10 years of my life hanging out and having an easy time doing this easy, boring job, I'm going to quit it right now and save myself 10 years because this is where I'm going to end up anyway. I'm going to end up quitting this job and so, you know, and I'm not saying everyone needs to listen to me. I listen to me if you want. Don't listen to me if you don't want. But I do have a unique perspective, and I hate to even talk about stuff like this on YouTube because a lot of people ain't ready to hear things like this. But I'm gonna say it anyway. I believe in reincarnation. I believe my vibration is not a real good match for this place. I believe my soul comes from elsewhere. I'm going to just leave it at that. So here's the thing. I believe I have a very unique perspective because I am, you know, I'm different in a lot of ways. I can see things that a lot of people can't see. A lot of people would have been like, "Oh, this is an easy job. This is a high-paying job. This is exactly what I want." I knew that wasn't what I wanted. On the surface, everyone wants that. But look, if it was that simple, everyone out there with easy, high-paying jobs would be happy. How many of them are happy? Not many of them. And it's because they're not accepting the challenges that the universe is putting in front of them. So I felt I was being tested once again. I knew deep down it wasn't going to do me no good. So it was just postponing the inevitable, where at some point in the future, I would have ended up quitting that job and going back out on the street and doing what was making me happy, what was making a lot of other people happy, what was making me good money. But the money was not so good to where I would just go out and blow it on dope because I didn't need that. I felt good doing what I was doing. I enjoyed meeting all the new people, all the tourists in New York. A lot of people in New York complain about the tourists. Let me tell you something. Most of those people in New York City complaining about the tourists, they're not even from New York City. People like me on the street performing and doing art and stuff, we love the tourists, and a lot of us are from New York, but we love the tourists because the tourists were buying our stuff and being very polite to us and very nice to us, and it's cool. It's cool to meet people from all around the world. I did a portrait for one girl who was from Siberia in Russia, and it took her weeks to get to New York because she had to ride by horse to some boat to some airport, all that. And she came to New York and she got a portrait from me, which hopefully is in her house in Siberia somewhere right now. Um, you know what I mean? It's like, to me, that's at least I was doing something that it was true to myself. It was making people happy, and I loved it. So, and if not for the whole 2020 situation with the fires and all that, I'd probably still be in New York doing it. To be honest, I loved it that much, and I had plans to start selling prints of my other drawings, anyways. But so now, recently, do you guys know who Khabib Nurmagomedov is? He's a former lightweight champion, UFC, Russian dude, real good wrestler, does the whole Russian Sambo style of fighting. Very good fighter. Anyways, apparently he's got 3 million owed in back taxes, and so they went and they froze all his accounts. Now, it made me realize that I don't care how rich you are, you could be a professional fighter. That's someone you don't want to mess with. It don't matter. They can take everything from you. This is a man, he's made, I don't know, at least tens of millions of dollars, potentially maybe 100 million. And they can just freeze all his accounts and take everything from him. So it made me realize that you really, it, being filthy rich, that's not real freedom because they can take it all from you unless you're gonna just bury it all in your backyard or something. But even at that point, the world economy could collapse and the dollar could be worth 5 cents. You know what I mean? So one of the main lessons I learned when I was homeless was, yeah, the external doesn't matter that much. What really matters is how you handle it. So, I felt like my life was just going to keep manifesting these financial problems until I learned whatever the universe was trying to teach me, which I think the universe was trying to teach me. It was trying to teach me a lot of things. One of the main ones it was trying to teach me was every time I try to film a video, this motherfucker with the fucking radio, I gotta get my car fixed. Get the fuck out of here, bro. So hold up, I might have to edit this out. God. The fuck was I just saying? So okay, here's the way I see it. Life is going to keep manifesting the same issues until you learn the lessons that it's trying to teach you. You're not here to make a bunch of money and live on vacation. That's not why you're here. You're here to evolve spiritually. You're here to learn deep lessons. And so, unless you learn those lessons, the same bullshit is going to keep manifesting over and over. Now, this is why I hate trying to film the same video more than once because I'm not sure if I mentioned this part, but I'm gonna mention it because it's important. So, what happened with me was when I was trying to live a normal life, what kept happening over and over was it didn't matter how hard I worked, how much I sacrificed. I was cutting my bills down. I didn't have cable TV, man, all this shit. I'm trying to cut my bills down to nothing because I started a brand new industry, a career in construction where they were only paying me like $7 an hour at first. I was used to making more than that, but I wanted to start learning some trades so I could have job security in the future. I figured if I'm a good carpenter, I'll be able to get a job anywhere, anytime. And so, I was did working hard, sacrificing a lot of comfort and security with the cable TV and eating cheap and this and that. And then a couple years later, right when I'm starting to make good money, the whole friggin' financial crisis happened. What I realized was it doesn't matter what I do, doesn't matter how hard I work, doesn't matter how many trades I learn, this shit is going to keep happening where I'm running out of money and I got to call someone to borrow money. And I was sick of it. And I said, look, I feel like the universe is trying to teach me something here. So I'm not asking nobody for help. What ended up happening was construction was slowing down. My truck breaks down. I can either pay my rent or fix my truck. I fixed my truck. I was figuring at least if work pops up, I'll be able to do it because my truck will be running. So, an apartment where I was paying rent for many years, I don't know how many years, but I was always paying rent on time. 5 days after being late on the rent, they evicted me. Now, the eviction took a few months, but it just goes to show you, I mean, they got us by the balls. The slightest misstep, and they just take everything from you. So, me personally, I'm like, I've had this proverbial gun to my head ever since I was 20 years old when I was paying my own rent and stuff like that. I, I've had this proverbial gun to my head where if you don't pay the rent, we're gonna take everything from you. Finally, after years of that, and no matter how hard I work, no matter what I sacrifice, I still got this proverbial gun to my head, this threat. I'm living my life under this threat. I said, you know what? I'm not asking nobody for shit. Do what you're gonna do. Take it all. I'm fucking done with you motherfuckers. I'm done. I don't want to live my life answering to other people where if uh, they decide on a whim to fire me from my job, then I got to put up with these people who they can say and do whatever they want, and I can't say or do nothing because I need them to make a living. So it's a perfect example of how they've just domesticated us all to the point where we're like domestic house cats or dogs or something, where we got to answer to the people who feed us. Now, you know, I've questioned my decisions more than once where when I was out there homeless, feeling like shit, looking like shit, filthy. I never smelled too bad because it's complicated. But if you don't eat a lot, you won't smell a lot. Um, so real quick on that. One of the ways that some of the Indians were really good at stealing horses is they wouldn't eat for a couple of days. This way, when they approached the horses, they wouldn't smell like a predator. And they would get to know the horses over the course of a couple of days, and then they would steal the horses. Once the horses were comfortable with them, they weren't spooked by the smell. They don't smell like predators, and they would. That's how they would steal the horses. That's why they were so good at it. Um, so I questioned my path more than once, where things were just, I was right at the edge of what I could handle as far as difficulty in life, and I'd be like, "What am I doing out here? Why did I do this? I don't understand it, but here I am. I got to deal with it. And here I am years later. I get it now. God, the universe, the force, the Tao, whatever you want to call it, wanted me to be self-reliant, so I wouldn't have to worry about putting control of my life in anyone else's hands. And so I'm not saying, look, we're all here to learn different things. That was one of the main lessons, apparently, I came here to learn. So I guess what I'm trying to say is the external shit doesn't even matter. Don't think someone's a moron just because they're homeless. Now, a lot of homeless people are morons, but some of them are not. So, you know, listen to who you want to listen to. The truth is going to ring true to the people who are out there looking for it. Now, I'm not interested in talking anyone into anything. You know what I mean? I'm not, believe me when I tell you, I'm not saying everyone should go out and be homeless because I don't believe that at all. I believe that most people end up being homeless due to their own bad decisions. But I gotta say, in my own situation, I was kind of forced into it in a lot of ways. And I decided I'm just gonna deal with this shit now and figure it out. This way I don't gotta worry about it no more. And that's the position I'm in now. You know, you got someone like Khabib, very powerful person in the world. He's got maybe $100 million. He's probably, you know, he could put hits out on people. He's probably got servants if he wants them. In the blink of an eye, they can take everything from him. How powerful really is he? This is a professional fighter with a lot of money. You'd think a powerful person that nobody could mess with. Wrong. They could take everything from him. Now, look at me. I'm technically homeless. I'm living in this trailer at the back of my mechanics, which I'm trying to get out of here. It's not something I can't force this guy to fix my car, and I don't want to go pay another mechanic to do it because I've already paid him a lot to do it. So my situation is a little messed up. But whatever's going to happen is going to happen. I'm not. One thing that's not going to happen is I'm not going to act a fool about it. Worst come to worst, I'll get my car towed and fixed from someone else, which it'd be messed up. But if that's what I got to do, that's what I got to do. So hold up. Let me just shut this door so I don't have to. Hold on. Man, this better not affect my video, bro. Fucking, I gotta get out of here, bro. It's that simple. Look, I don't like anyone having any control over any of my circumstances. So, you know, if my car was running, I would ride over to the beach and do this video where I don't got to worry about somebody behind me blasting the radio. It's not the mechanic, it's the body guy. This guy works on, you know. So, um, now what the fuck was I even saying? All right, I'm back. So, the main point I'm trying to make here, I suppose, is what is freedom? I used to think freedom was having a lot of money, but I don't think that's the case. What Because they can take it all from you. House paid for, they can still take it from you. They can take everything from you. So what's real freedom? Real freedom is to not answer to anyone, regardless of anything. I mean, I answer to God, I don't answer to people. So, real freedom to me is giving nobody any power over your life. Now, how do you accomplish that? I think that answer is different for every person. You got to figure it out for yourself. For me, it was learning how to make money outside of this job economy because, you know, I can do that now. You can put me in any city on earth. I'll be making money within a couple of hours. I don't care. You can literally drop me off in the middle of any city on earth. Well, maybe I don't know about on earth. I would even then. I don't even need to speak the language. So with nothing, nothing at all, I would get myself a marker. I would get myself a piece of cardboard. I would get my hands on some paper, and I would make a sign, and I would start selling portraits. I'd figure that out within a couple of days. Within a couple of days, I'd be making money. I got this. My drawing style sells. Some people got a style that sells. Some people don't. If you're an artist, my advice to you is um, stay true to yourself. Don't try to emulate anyone else because that's what sells is originality. So you can go ahead and bite other people and do what they're doing. There's someone else in New York now apparently selling bad portraits, but he ain't I guarantee it ain't nothing like what I was doing. Where people just loved what I was doing, and that's I gotta say it's pretty lame. The dude literally just completely copied what I was doing. Um, but I'm not doing it no more. I mean, even still, I wouldn't care. I would go right next to him in the park, put up my sign, and do what I do, and I'd be outselling him. I mean, you can't succeed by just copying other people, in my opinion. So, quick advice for artists: stay true to yourself. Don't worry about. Look, the art industry nowadays, it doesn't even your talent doesn't matter. What matters is politics. They're gonna do what's best for them politically. So, um, every industry is like that nowadays. You know what I mean? So, um, yeah. So here's the thing. Some people don't even care about being free. You got to figure out what it is that you actually want. If what you want is comfort and security, that's fine. Do that. But deep down, everyone's got to figure it out for themselves. What I did in my life, I don't suggest others do it, unless you really feel deep down in the deepest part of your heart that that is something that you have to conquer. But so the main point here is the external doesn't matter. What matters is that you learn the lessons that you came here to learn. So, um, just take everything as a lesson. It just whatever happens in life, think about it like this: it was meant to happen, and it was meant to teach me something. Let me learn whatever it is that it's trying to teach me, even if you may not want to hear it. It may be a hard lesson. It might be a hard lesson, but the way I see it is these issues in life will keep manifesting until you learn what you were supposed to learn. Here's a good metaphor for it. Now, I'm into ninjutsu, and I mean old school ninjutsu, like the ancient Japanese ninjas who were really doing superhuman things, literally, realistically. Now, in the modern world, they tell you, oh, that's all nonsense. It's not true. Okay, whatever. Here's the thing. If you want to see a real interesting video on ninjutsu, look up the 9 cuts on a channel called Rules of the Mind, and that will give you a vague idea of real ninjutsu. So here's the thing. Now, supposedly, uh, a true, well-trained ninja who is in alignment physically, mentally, spiritually, everything's in alignment. Ninjutsu is not just about fighting. It has nothing to do with fighting. Ninjutsu is is the art of guerrilla warfare. It's so far beyond fighting. A ninja is not going to fight you if they don't care. They would back down from you. They would, bow to you. I'm afraid of you, this and that. But if their mission was to take you out of this world, they're gonna do it. They will erase you from existence, and you could be in the middle of Fort Knox. They're gonna get you. They're gonna get you one way or another. They don't care about, oh, everyone. Hopefully, they'll think I'm tough and be impressed with my ninjutsu skills. You'd never even know. They don't go around showing off. They got a job to do. That's all that matters, bro. There's a real fun video game on the old school PlayStation called Tenchu, where you're rewarded for not being seen. You go through the whole level without being seen. You could go through the level and fight everyone, but you don't get no rewards for that because that's not what ninjas do. They don't fight. They're ninjas. The whole it's so brilliant. Everything a ninja carries has multiple purposes. The reason a ninja sword has such a big hilt is because they would use it as a step. There would be like a line attached to their wrist to their sword. They'd lean their sword up against the wall, run up, jump up off the hilt, go up 15, 20 feet, grab the top, climb up, pull their sword up. Everything had more than one purpose, everything they carried. Um, but so apparently, a true high level ninja can heal themselves with meditation. Now, I've looked into this a little bit and I've even tried it a little bit, and here's how it works. When you have an injury, instead of ignoring the pain, which is what comes natural, you focus on it. Because what is pain? Pain is a signal from your brain telling you, we got a problem. You got a problem with your leg. So there's a throwing knife sticking out of it. you know, so you can pull the knife out, wrap it up, and then try to ignore it. But realistically, that just makes it hurt more. Now, what the ninjas would do is they would get to a quiet place and they would focus, not ignore the pain, they'd focus on it. And they would focus on what their body needs to do to heal it, like on the cellular level. And these are people who are so you know, they've been meditating. They've been trained since they were kids to meditate and do these things. Like for us to meditate, it's hard. We live in this world. It's a fucking circus. It's a clown show. But they were raised in situations where they were taught to meditate. They were trained physically, mentally, spiritually from very young. So legend has it that they were able to literally heal wounds with meditation. Um, you ever seen that movie Ninja Assassin? I like that movie. A lot of people are like that movie's stupid. I like it. But at one point, he's half dead in the trunk of a car. He's been stabbed, hit with Chinese stars, all this, and he starts doing the nine hand seals, which is the video I just told you about. And with his meditation, he heals himself enough to where he doesn't die at that point. Now, do I believe they can literally close up cuts with it? I don't know. Let me tell you one thing. I've seen impossible I've seen impossible things in this world. This is why I believe in ghosts and shit like that because I've seen with my own eyes things that you would not believe. And I'm not going into it in this video, but I don't care what people tell me. I've seen and experienced things that don't make sense. So when people talk, I assume they're telling me the truth. You know what I mean? The better I know them, the better I can read them. But anyway, so here's the thing. Let me get back to my point here. Next time you got a headache, next time you stub your toe, next time you cut yourself on accident, instead of ignoring the pain, focus on it and watch how that pain lessens the more you focus on it. And the more here's the thing, try to figure out exactly what the issue is, what the injury is, and try to figure out exactly what your body needs to do to fix that and help it along with your conscious mind on a cellular level. So here's the thing. Now, what is pain? It's a signal. It's telling you something's wrong. You ignore it, that signal is going to try to get your attention. It's going to hurt worse. Focus on it, acknowledge it consciously and watch how the pain is less when you're focused on it and when you're focused on healing it. Now, here's where the metaphor comes in. Life is like that. The same the same issues are going to keep manifesting. It's a signal from the universe. Call God our central collective brain or something. It's a universe. It's a message from the universe telling you here's something you got to work on, and here's um, here's some circumstances that are gonna force you to work on. A lot of people, they don't see it that way. They just, I need to fix this problem. Let me go beg someone for help. This problem needs to get fixed. That's the wrong way to look at it. You got to look at it like, what is this trying to teach me? This is happening for a reason. What is it trying to teach me? What is the wound that I should be trying to heal right now? Not just ignore it, get someone else to fix it for you. I'll give you an example. No, I don't want to give that example because I don't want to be putting people's business out there. But let's just say uh, let's just say something goes wrong and you could fix it yourself, but it's going to be hard. It's going to be real hard. You may have to you may have to even be homeless to deal with it. Instead of going and begging someone for help, my advice is do what's hard and learn the hard lessons. So hopefully this video makes sense. Let me go put it together and and see if it makes sense. Um, but last thing I want to say is, yeah, you think these rich, powerful people are free? They're not. They're even less free than you are because they have so much to lose, and they're so afraid to lose it that they'll do just about anything if the right people tell them to, because they don't want to lose what they got. Now you got someone like me. I own very little. The most important things I own, I could stuff into a backpack and tie the rest of it to a bicycle, and I'm good. And so, realistically, technically, I guess I'm more powerful than a lot of these rich people because I don't got to answer to nobody. They can't take shit from me. They can take everything from me. I'm gonna go get it back. They want to chase me around for the rest of my life, taking everything from me. Well, they're welcome to do that. It's going to be a lot more trouble than it's worth for them. So, yeah, why should you listen to me? I don't care if you listen to me or not. But I got a lot to say, and I got a very unique perspective, and you know, I do appreciate people. I appreciate all y'all, even the people who talk shit to me. So I just appreciate you. Thanks for the subs, likes, comments, tips. Thanks for the unlikes. Thanks for the insults. Thanks especially the Patreons. If you want to know about reincarnation and you want to know the technicalities of these things, go on my Patreon. If not, don't go on my Patreon because it's not for everyone. But yeah, that's the end of this video. Appreciate every single one of you, and I'll see you on the next one. Oh, my Red Dead Redemption playthroughs are on the other one if you want to see that. So I'll either see y'all here, there, or on Patreon. Everybody have a good one.